Hello, Nabil, and whoever else decided to listen to this. This is the first ever Splatty League podcast. It's 2020. Everyone's recording podcasts now, so I thought I'd give it a shot myself. So here goes nothing. Um, First of all, if you got an idea for the show, please let me know. I've got a few ideas what I want to do each week, including like just looking at one team or a matchup for the week, particularly going off of like maybe the traveling belt idea that I came up with over the summer, or some playoff previews. Also, just in general, playoff watch who is going to make or miss the playoffs as we get closer to the trade deadline and playoffs becoming a more important thing. Also, do some reviews, including big trades for the week, big waiver wire pickups. I'm going to try to do this on Tuesday. So Tuesday, maybe more of a waiver wire preview. Maybe I'll start doing Tuesday, Saturday, so we can kind of, if this is popular enough, I'll do 2 times a week. But for now, the goal is just once a week. Also, try to get some actual NFL review or preview in, especially big games for the teams that I know all of us are fans of. So 49ers, Raiders, Broncos, and apparently Drew's still trying to be a Bills fan. Some of our favorite teams that are in big games. Try to do reviews of those. But if you got any, requests or ideas, if you want to make wagers with me or with other league members via the podcast, you're more than welcome to let me know, and I'll set up a time where we can record an interview for the podcast. If you want to do something weird, like try to make an Eskimo brother map of all of us, I think that could be fun as well. So, first segment, I would try to do a team highlight. Want to look at Devin's team. Obviously, he had the most amount of negative activity post draft, with Leonard Fournette being cut and then re-signing with Tampa Bay, which is already a crowded backfield. Of course, Devin had already drafted Ronald Jones and Keyshawn Vaughn, both the 1 and 2 running backs, or so it seemed, in Tampa Bay. Only to now have all 3 of the top guys. Definitely a bummer for Devin, losing Fournette, and then only to have that get doubled down with the signing of Fournette to Tampa Bay. Follow that up, though, then Adrian Peterson, of course, goes to the Lions after he get cut. AP was on my team, which definitely did not help me, thinking that he was getting all of the number 1 touches in practice just 2 days before. But Kerryon Johnson, who was the clear lead back, it looked like, in Detroit, now has a more crowded backfield with Adrian Peterson going there as well. So definitely a bummer for Devin. Looking at his team, he's got Dak Prescott, who I think could end up becoming probably not on the same par as Lamar Jackson or Patrick Mahomes, but definitely has that chance to be in that same breed of mobile quarterbacks, going to score a lot of touchdowns this year. Julio Jones and A.J. Brown as the top 2 receivers, as well as Tyler Lockett in there at the flex. Any one of those guys could go for a big game at any point. So I don't think that it's going to be terrible for Devin's team, and mostly because this is my big. I'm going to do one bold prediction of the week, and bold prediction for this week. I'm going to go with Gronk's going to score 2 touchdowns in the opening game against New Orleans. It's going to be a shootout, and everyone knows that Gronk loves the spotlight. The last game that he played in was in the Super Bowl. He didn't score there, but there was only 1 touchdown in the game. Gronk, of course, made the 30 or 40-yard catch to set up that touchdown. And he's got Tom Brady throwing to him. And I think Devin's going to end up being in a good position after week 1, because he obviously has the people's tight end there, George Kittle, starting for him. And there's no way you can start Gronk over Kittle, but I think that there's a good chance that Devin could fix his running back woes pretty quickly, because my bold prediction is Gronk's going to score at least 2 touchdowns this week against New Orleans. You can put it on the board, Gronk 2 touchdowns. And that'll help Devin out quite a bit, I think, if he has, kind of a crowded tight end spot. Maybe get some trades going to help him out with some of the running back woes. All right, in the last segment, I want to do for week 1, matchup of the week. It's actually for the title belt, championship, the traveling belt, which I decided to start tracking this summer because I ran out of things to do, as many of us did during the lockdown. We got Antonio, who's our defending champion, versus Rocha, who had Yahoo's favorite draft. Obviously, the Yahoo projections and predictions mean somewhere between a little to a lot, depending on your opinion. They do mean something, though. Rocha obviously has a good team. Antonio mentioned it himself, actually, a couple times during the draft, that Rocha has a good team. This is actually only Rocha's. This is the only week Rocha is not projected to win, according to Yahoo. Things will change as injuries happen, as trades are made. You got to remember that Yahoo doesn't ever assume that you're going to pick up a new kicker or defense, or if you have bye week hell, so it'll put zeros in at those positions. So that's going to change quite a lot. But it is something to say that right now, at this point, this is the only matchup that Rocha is projected to lose. Both Antonio and Rocha projected for over 130, which historically 130 points is going to win you a majority of games, majority of matchups during the weeks. But let's look at what each of them have to do in order to have a good week this week. I'm going to start with Rocha's team for one simple reason. It's because he's got two guys going on Thursday. He's got Patrick Mahomes with Travis Kelce. Both of them on his team, both of them starting on Thursday. Give me a second, I'm just pulling up that matchup. Right, so Mahomes and Kelce projected for a combined near 42 points. Obviously, it's a big match. Mahomes and Kelce, if they can connect for a couple touchdowns on Thursday, it'll put Ryan in a great position to win. It's also, we're not sure how DeAndre Hopkins is going to do in the new system in Arizona for Rocha. Hopkins, if you didn't see, did just sign the biggest non-quarterback contract in league history. Good for him. Go get paid, brother. And then we got Amari Cooper, Aaron Jones, also slated to do a lot of damage for Rocha there. On the flip side, it really comes down to how well do the Carolina players do for Antonio. He's got DJ Moore and Christian McCaffrey going. Projected combined points just over 40. And really, we'll see how CMC and DJ Moore can do. For Carolina, that's the biggest thing that it comes down for. That's the biggest thing that it will come down to for Antonio. How well does Carolina score against the Raiders? They are at home. It's week 1, so you never really know with any offenses if they're ready, especially with no preseason. Lot riding on the Carolina-Vegas game for Antonio. A lot riding on Thursday night with Pat Mahomes and company for Rocha. One last mini segment I'm going to throw in here. Just saw the news that Von Miller went down in practice, hoping that it's not a season-ending injury that they are worried about. Hoping for him. He seems like a super cool dude. Hoping for you, Hoyt, because I know that your Broncos are hoping to maybe bounce back a little bit this year, and Von Miller is a huge part of that. So let's hope that he's, even though he's not fantasy relevant, everything's good for Von Miller. The last thing I do want to request, though, before I sign off, if you have any tips or tricks for me in recording this, I'm not going to try to take out all the breathing sounds I'm sure you heard. I also don't have any sort of music in the background, don't have any sort of transition audio. If only there was someone, Rocha, who has more experience with audio recording and mixing and all that. Maybe this podcast will turn into something that's actually listenable to more than just Nabil. Anyway, thanks a lot for tuning in, and hope that we talk again next week.